Alright guys, this is going to be on the movie Dredd, the 2002, or 2012 Dredd, sorry. And you can see there's a sticker on there. I tried to rip off it and come off so well, but got this from a place called Capitol Music, a record store, and they sell DVDs like 2 for $5, so it's a pretty good deal. But then they put their stickers on there, and yeah, I might have to get some new cases at some point. But anyway, I watched this quite a while back, over a month ago, a couple of months ago with my mom, and we both enjoyed it. Okay, this is a dark and gritty movie. This is based on the Judge Dredd comic, which I don't really know a lot about, so I can't really talk about that. But there was a movie prior to this. I don't know if it was like in the 90s, I think, with it had I can't even think of who it was now. See, I want to say Mel Gibson, but it's not. It was Sylvester Stallone. I'm sorry. Messing up all over the place. Sylvester Stallone was in the Judge Dredd movie, and I think a lot of people didn't like that. It didn't really go with the comic, or it was really corny. There was a lot of comedy in it, and it had Rob Schneider in it. And I watched it a long time ago. I don't remember really what I think about it. I'd like to watch it again, and I'm sure that even if it is corny and stuff, I can probably appreciate it. I looked at the trailer, and it has like robots in it and some things that this movie doesn't have. So they're like completely different movies. From what I know, though, people who are big fans of the comic book didn't like that one, but they love this one. I really like this one. If you like the Dark Knight series of the Batman trilogy, the Dark Knight Rises and such, and Batman Begins and the Dark Knight, then I think that you'll like this. This kind of has that darker hero type thing. I'm going to read the back of it. It says, "It's a blast," by JoeBlow.com. The America of the post-apocalyptic future is an irradiated wasteland, a vast, ultra-violent world where criminals control the mean cities. Ultimate law enforcers like Dredd. Carl Urban plays Dredd. I don't really know what else he's in, but I guess he's in Star Trek. He's in the new Star Trek or something. And his new partner, Anderson, Olivia Thirlby, The Darkest Hour. Don't really know her either. They were both great. They're judges, the only force battling for justice. Dispatched by the Central Authority, the judge's target is Mama, Lena Headey, from Game of Thrones. A ruthless boss bent on expanding her criminal empire through sales of slow-mo, a dangerous reality-altering drug. With Dredd calling the shots, the two judges declare full-scale war on crime in this unrelenting and brutal three-dimensional thrill ride. So I think it originally came out like in 3D. This is the non-3D version. There's a lot of cool effects in this movie. And I am going to talk about spoilers. I'm just going to talk to you about the plot and stuff that I liked and didn't like. And I don't think there's really much that I didn't like, honestly. But, there's cursing, there's blood in it. It's rated R. There's some gory stuff in it. But at the same time, I've seen a lot worse. Obviously, it was crazy, but... so there's the judges. They're like the police officers, basically. They're like the judge, jury, and executioner. And so if they can sentence the criminal, right at that time. And basically the judges all wear these suits with this helmet. They have this look. And a lot of people give credit to this Carl Urban playing Judge Dredd because he never takes off the helmet throughout the whole movie. You never see his face. And so, his acting just has to be, the way that he moves and speaks, and he does a great job of that. And I think the suit looks really cool. The style of this movie is great. The music's great. I don't know what the budget for this was. It probably wasn't too extreme, but I don't know. It looks really futuristic. Blade Runner 2049 is one of my favorite movies that I've seen, recently in the past year or so that blew me away. And I've seen Upgrade and what else? Ghost in the Shell. And, I thought those were all really good with the futuristic style, and this could fit in there. I mean, this is a lot darker. But this all mostly takes place inside of this big building, like a skyscraper called a mega block or whatever, where people live now. And so there's all these different stories, and they have stores in there and stuff. And so this is where people live, basically. It's just like a housing. And in this mega block, that mama's there, the leader of this drug cartel that does the slow-mo drug, which is kind of like a asthma inhaler people take, and then it makes them like they're you know, what they see, what they experience is like really slow. And so we see what they experience. We see like the first hand of that. And so that explains some of the slow motion effects in this movie. It kind of gives a purpose for it, which is a cool idea. And, you know, there's lots of scenes where people are getting shot up, and it goes into the slow-mo, and you see like the bullet come in and like pierce through their cheek, and it goes out the other one, and, you know, nasty stuff, but it's cool effects. It's pretty cool. I think when we first see it too, maybe she's like in the bath, and I don't think there's a lot of nudity in this, if at all, not that I can remember. But I mean, she's in the water, and she raises up her hand really slow with you know, the slow-mo, and you see like the water glistening, and it just looks like so weird but cool. I mean, the artist, there's a lot of artistic style in this that's really cool. Inside the mega block, you know, it's futuristic, but it's all it's just really gritty and concrete, and you know, not a lot there. It's like a slum kind of. The villain she plays, you know, really brutal villain. When she kills people, like they get like they'll give them the slow-mo and then skin them alive, so you know they're experiencing it like agonizing slow torture. And we don't see all that in the detail, but you know, they do that. And you know, they'll throw them like off the balcony, off the top of this mega block to the bottom, so they'll, you know, be experiencing the fall for like a lot longer, and you know, terrifying the whole time. But she does like the most evil, sickest ways to kill people. So she's like an ultra villain, okay? And Judge Dredd's the hero. Judge Dredd gets put with this rookie, and well, at the beginning of this movie, we see Judge Dredd chasing some criminals, and you know, they're killing people. They run over somebody because they're trying to evade him or whatever, and one of them takes a hostage, and you know, he causes them to crash. First of all, he's chasing them on like a motorbike, and that's a pretty cool scene. He's kind of got like a futuristic style motorbike, and has them crash, and most of them die, but one lives. And then he runs into like a store or something. He takes a hostage, and he's like, you know, drop the gun or I'll shoot her or whatever. And Judge Dredd's pointing his gun at him, and he said, go ahead and shoot her or whatever. And the guy's like, what? He's like, I'll really kill her, I mean it. And he's like, okay, go ahead, hot shot. When he says hot shot, it like signifies an action to his gun, and it shoots out like a flare in the guy's mouth and like burns him up on the inside, and like flames like so at first I thought that was kind of corny, but it's kind of cool because that ends up becoming a great feature of this movie, is the gun itself, because the gun that he uses has all these different kinds of ammunition that he can use, and so that's pretty cool. You know, a lot of this movie is just running around shooting up baddies in the mega block, but I mean, it's basic, the plot's basic, but it's good, and you know, it's an action movie, so it doesn't need to be really crazy. And it's so he's put with this rookie, this partner. That's the woman, the Olivia Thirlby. Her name's Anderson in the movie, the character. And she is not wearing the helmet, which at first, you know, is stupid. It's like, why is she not wearing a helmet? Well, when the mama, the main villain, has her goons throw one of the guys off the balcony, and you know, he goes splat on the bottom, they get the report of the crime, the judges, and he says, you know, she says, what are we going to do first or whatever, you know. He says, it's your choice, rookie. And so she chooses to go there. Now she has failed the test to become a judge, I guess. She was kind of short of that, but she has psychic abilities, so she can read minds and stuff like that. And so they said that since she can do that puts her over, you know, to be a judge. And Judge Dredd is very black and white, and he's not all crazy about that. So Anyway, but she goes with him. They go to the Mega Block. One thing that was funny was there was like a bum or something that was sitting outside and begging for change or something. He was sitting outside the Mega Block, and Judge Dredd knew him or something, and he said, "Hey, I don't want to see you here, like when I come back or whatever, like you need to leave." Like he was going to let him off the hook for whatever, but and well, when Mama finds out that the judges are there, I think they capture one of the goons and they're going to take him out for questioning. And so Mama like shuts down the whole Mega Block. So all these walls like start coming down around the skyscraper. It blocks them in. And that bum's still sitting there. He didn't heed to what Judge Dredd said. So it shows like one of the walls coming down and crushing him. It's just like splat. So it's kind of funny. It's just ironic. He should have done what the judge told him to. He didn't, and then he gets crushed. So there's little bits of humor in here. Yeah, it's a nasty humor, but it was funny. So, and when the bodies that got thrown over the balcony, they were like covered up when Judge Dredd come. That was one of the gory scenes too. He like pulls back the cover and you see like their heads just all mashed and just blood and gore, and it's like, okay, that's nasty. But that just puts over even more how evil and sadistic this criminal is, and she needs justice to be served there. So the girl with the psychic abilities, a lot of that comes into play, and I'm gonna get winded just going over the plot. There's just so much that I loved about it. Just the action, it was just cool. So they got this main guy with them that they're going to take into custody, in handcuffs, that's with them the whole time. And when Mama shuts down the block, she's basically like, there's 2 judges in here, like I want them dead. I'm not going to open up the Mega Block until these judges are dead. So there's lots of there's other gangs and stuff in here in the Mega Block, just like gang warfare. And so some of the people are innocent and they run into their homes. They don't want anything to do with it. And then there's gangsters that, are going after the judges now. And so they're working their way up to the top, basically, to Mama, eventually, as the story goes on. And, man, there's just so much. Eventually, the guy that they have to take in for questioning, he ends up taking the female judge. He ends up capturing her and taking him away from Judge Dredd. And that was one of my favorite parts of the movie, because that's like, this is the time when Judge Dredd gets pissed. Like, you did the wrong thing and really made him mad. And that's when we really see him come out in full force. And Mama has this guy that she's kind of, it's kind of her servant, who's, he's all into computers and technology, and he's the one that helped shut down the Mega Block and everything. So everything is, electronic inside the Mega Block. There's, cameras, and there's intercoms and all that stuff. Well, Judge Dredd breaks into the intercom to send a message to everybody after the girl gets taken away. And Mama has the electric guy, the technology guy. He's like, well, he wants to use the intercom. We can let him, and if we let him, then we can find out his location. And she's like, okay, well, let's hear what he has to say then. Let's do it. And that's when he's like, basically, he says, like, Mama's a common criminal, and, Mama's not the law, I'm the law. And like, anybody who wants to get in the way will be charged. And she's been charged with murder and drug dealing, and her punishment is death, basically. And so he's like, I mean business, I'm the law, and I'm coming for Mama. And anybody who wants to get in my way, they're going to be, punished as well. And so they find out his location, so they send guys after him, and they see like a silhouette in a booth. And they're like, there he is, and so they light it up. with guns. You know, they're shooting in the booth. And they go in there, and there's like a corpse of somebody else that was put in the booth. And he's like up on an upper balcony, like another tier above him or whatever, looking down. And he's like incinerary, and his gun like shoots out these incinerary rounds. It's like raining like fire down on him, like these fire bombs. And like it sets him ablaze, and they're running on fire. And you see like the reflection of the flames in his helmet. And that was just, to me, that was the coolest part. It's like, wow, now he means business, you know. He's serious, and he's burning these people. And just to see that his gun could do that, you know, he had the hot shot flare thing, he has like armor piercing rounds, he has incinerary rounds, he has like a shock thing, or like a shock wave, like there's these kids that try to kill him, like young, like teenagers or whatever, you know, they're confused, they think that it's their duty to take him out. And so he like shocks them, and it just like, you know, stuns them or whatever, it doesn't kill him. So it's like a non-fatal thing. And I can't even remember all the different rounds that he used, but there's tons of different stuff that his gun can do. Later on, we find out that the gun can only be used by the judge too. Like when a criminal tries to use it, it'll like blow up or whatever. And so there's so much. Well, they can't reach contact outside to the judges to have more come in, because when the building got shut down, it stopped like all transfer of electronics, you know, outside, and they can't communicate with the headquarters, basically. They end up getting outside at one point and stuff, and they can communicate with the headquarters, so they call in some judges. Finally, like 4 judges arrive, and they go and they talk to Mama. Mama tells them like, she'll give them money for to kill the judges that are already there. So these are corrupt judges, and you know they haggle with Mama, like they want $1 million or whatever, and she's like, okay, fine, whatever it takes. And so now we have like 4 bad judges on top of all the criminals and everything that are after these guys. And I just feel like I'm just going on and on, but you know, the action is just awesome. Like I said, the style with the slow-mo, with just the futuristic sets, it's basic, but it does the job. It looks futuristic. It doesn't look too corny or unbelievable. You know, it's a movie that, you know, I guess the R rating is a good thing for it. It's not, I don't think it was too crazy, but maybe that's just because I'm desensitized to watching crazier films. But, you know, it needed to have that little bit of an edge that the R rating gave it, and without being, you know, too nuts. But man, all I know is I really liked it, and I don't even know, you know, what I would rate it, but I give a lot of movies, you know, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. I don't see really anything that was wrong with this. You know, anything that I started to think was maybe wrong, I got proved wrong about later on, and, you know, things got explained or whatever, and I said, okay, well, that all makes sense. And just like with the female not wearing the helmet, you know, going in and it's like, well, this is stupid. Why wouldn't she wear a helmet? You know, and then I was like, well, maybe it's because of her psychic abilities. And then that comes in later on. And he's like, you forgot to bring your helmet or whatever. And she's like, it interferes with my psychic abilities. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, well, wouldn't a bullet interfere more? And it's like, yeah, that's like the common sense. Well, you know, so they brought it to the forefront. So, you know, just stuff like that, and I can't even really think of a lot of other examples, really. Like I said, at first, you know, the hot shot thing with the flare in the mouth and setting his head on fire, I thought was kind of corny. But then combined with all the other things that the gun does, and it's just like another thing, and then it's pretty cool, you know. It didn't make so much sense at the beginning until later on, and you see all the cool stuff that the gun can do, and it's like, oh, okay, it's an awesome... It has a variety. Yeah, the ending is good. I don't want to spoil everything, but, you know, it just all comes full circle. It's just, like I said, it's a basic plot. You know, there's nice little touches there with her psychic abilities. It comes into play where she gets into people's heads. And, you know, she can basically torment people inside their mind, and she can, she uses it to their advantage in different ways. like they needed a place to like hide or something, so there was a room, there was like a house or apartment with a person in there. She knew the person was in there, and like she knew how to like kind of manipulate the person to let them in. And a woman let him in, and this woman has a child and she has a husband. Well, earlier on, her husband was one of the criminals, and they killed him. And so like, it was actually the girl who killed the husband, and the female judge, and she remembers that killing him, and she doesn't say anything to the wife, but she remembers that it happened because the wife still thinks that he's alive. And so there's some touching things in there too, amidst all the carnage and the shooting and the stuff. But you know, so it's just all around good movie. So yeah, I mean, a 10 out of 10, I guess. I don't have any idea what I would say that rubbed me wrong about it. I mean, if you're into comic book movies, if you're into action movies, if you're into sci-fi, well, this should be up your alley. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. I'd still like to rewatch the old Judge Dredd, but you know, it's a completely different style. And anyways, that's it. So God bless, and see you again.